More evidence that the sinister tech monopoly Google is not on the level, not at all what it claims to be. New leaked communications from inside that company show that Google employees discussed suppressing conservative news websites in their search engine right after the 2016 election. In one post from November 9th, 2016, a Google engineer called Scott Beyer called the Daily Caller and Breitbart opinion blogs, quote, and said that Google employees should reduce the visibility of both sites in search results compared to, quote, legitimate news organizations. Other employees said it was the company's job to provide more, quote, context to rebut news outlets they dislike. Robert Epstein is a senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology and one of the people who's paid closest attention to the power that Google has. Mr. Epstein, thanks very much for coming on tonight. So Google has said repeatedly that it does not manipulate search results, and yet this is not the first, not even close to the first, piece of evidence we have from within the company showing Google employees discussing ways to manipulate search results. Can we be confident they're not doing it?
Not at all. You know, Google was extremely good at keeping its secrets for almost 20 years, but in the last few months that has changed, and there have been quite a number of leaks. And we have seen a number of internal discussions there, like the one that you just described. And there's simply no question that they have very strong political leanings. 95% of donations there go to Democrats. I myself am not a conservative. I actually, I kind of lean toward Google's political views. But it's frightening to me because of what I study day by day. It's frightening to me that this company, with very strong political leanings, has the power to shift millions of votes, to shift opinions on a massive scale without people knowing that they're doing it and without being accountable to the public.
How can you have a democracy under those circumstances where one privately held company has the power to manipulate people's behavior without people knowing it?
Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's exactly what's happening here. And the situation gets even worse when these huge tech companies, the two largest being Google and Facebook, when they both have the same political leanings. So, you know, in that kind of scenario, we're talking about the ability to shift in the midterm elections. I calculated upwards of 12 million votes with no one having any idea that they're doing this. This is not like fake ads, which you can see.
Right.
This is invisible manipulation. I literally have to invent new names for the techniques they're using because they've never existed before.
So Google assures us that they're not doing this because they're good people, much better people than we are, for example. How can we know if they're telling the truth, and should we believe them?
Oh, well, they're sure they're good people. That's part of the problem. They have a kind of utopian thinking within the company. Not just among the employees, but, you know, their top executives think like utopians. So believe me, they believe that they are doing good for humanity, good for the United States by imposing their values, their thinking on the rest of us. The problem is, as I say, that they can do it in ways that have never existed before in human history.
So I know that, as you already said, you and I have different political views, probably don't vote for the same people. So you're maybe the person to ask. How can the United States Congress sit back with evidence that democracy, the core idea of democracy, is being challenged by this company and not do anything about it?
Well, the Democrats aren't going to do anything because these companies help them, obviously. The Republicans don't like regulation, so we have a tough problem here in the U.S. Now, the Europeans, on the other hand, you know, they see these companies as American, and so they've been much tougher on them. And I think we're going to see some pretty drastic actions taken against these companies by the EU in the next few years, and that could change their ability to operate worldwide.
I never thought I'd be waiting for France and Germany to come to our rescue, but that's where we are, unfortunately. Mr. Epstein, thank you very much. It was great, as always.
Thanks, Tucker.
Harmeet Dhillon is an attorney who has frequently